Video game music has come a long way in the last 40 years. Today, many composers are able to employ full symphonic orchestras in their soundtracks, have almost no limitations to what they can do with modern consoles, and yet, when I think of video game music, I often find myself going back to the 8-bit days and the NES. Many of the themes found in those old games are still among the most memorable ever composed for any video game, and today I'm going to count down the ones I think are the best out of all the NES theme songs. I listened to literally hundreds of NES theme songs while putting this list together, so it wasn't exactly easy to choose just 10. Because of that, it is more than likely that some of your favorite themes will not be on this list. If that's the case, then please leave a comment telling what your favorite NES themes are. Some choices are going to be quite obvious, of course, but there are a few not quite so common on this list. Also, only one theme per series is allowed. Number 10. Blaster Master, Stage 1 theme. Blaster Master is a game I put countless hours into when I was young. It was one of the first video games I ever owned, and the Stage 1 theme left an immediate impression on me. The track starts with a short build-up and then segues into the theme itself, which works as a perfect introduction to the game. This is definitely one of the more personal choices on this list. Number 9. Final Fantasy III, Crystal Tower. Some of you may already know that Nobuo Uematsu is my favorite video game composer of all time. However, in my opinion, he didn't really become great until the SNES era. His compositions on the NES were certainly good, but not great, for the most part that is. The Crystal Tower theme from Final Fantasy III is one of those tracks that showcase Uematsu's talent, and provided a small glimpse into what would come after the series made the jump to 16 bits. Number 8. Contra, Jungle and Hangar. This theme is interesting because for the first 30 seconds or so it is merely a good theme song from an excellent game, but nothing special. For me, it is the section that starts about 30 seconds in that makes this a great NES theme song. It is that part of the song that still stays in my mind despite the fact that I haven't really played much of the game itself in many years. The memorable melody combined with the excellent drum and bass lines lands this theme on the number 8 spot. Number 7. Batman, Streets of Gotham. This is already the second Sunsoft game on this list, and there is still one more to come. Back in the NES days, many developers had a very distinct sound in their soundtracks, and Sunsoft wasn't an exception. Just like it's often very easy to recognize a Capcom game on the NES just by listening to its soundtrack, the same holds true here. Sunsoft games often had an easily recognizable sound, and the term Sunsoft Bass was coined to describe the unique sound many of their games had, including this one. Number 6. Ninja Gaiden, Unbreakable Determination. Ninja Gaiden is often considered to be among the most challenging games on the NES. Fortunately, the difficulty wasn't the only thing that made Ninja Gaiden memorable. While the game was very unforgiving, the gameplay itself was excellent, and the graphics were great for the time. Ninja Gaiden was also one of the first games to use actual cutscenes to tell its story. In addition, the soundtrack is one of the best on the NES, as this theme more than adequately demonstrates. Number 5. DuckTales Moon Theme. A very obvious choice for the list, but it's obvious for a good reason. The Moon Theme from DuckTales is one of the most melodically engaging pieces of music on the NES. The melody itself is amazingly memorable and from beginning to end just exudes a sense of adventure and discovery. DuckTales was one of the best platformers on the NES, and it also features one of the NES's finest soundtracks. Number 4. Journey to Silius, Stage 1 and 5 theme. This is probably one of the more obscure themes and games on this list. Journey to Silius is a surprisingly good side-scrolling action platformer that's held back mostly by its short length, even by the standards of the time. Journey to Silius has largely fallen into obscurity, which is unfortunate as it is not only a good game, but also features some excellent themes with a sound that was unique to, again, Hudson Soft games. Number 3. Silver Surfer, Stage Theme 1. From the very first note of this theme you can hear the unique touch of the Fallen Brothers. They wrote some of the most complex themes found in any video game at the time, and the soundtrack they composed for Silver Surfer is perhaps their best. It's amazing just how complex this song is, especially considering the hardware the composers had to work with. This is what it sounds like when the NES soundchip is taken to its limits. Number 2. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Bloody Tears. This was a really difficult song to pick as the Castlevania series has a huge number of great theme songs to choose from. Simon's Quest might be the overall weakest game of the NES trilogy, but the soundtrack from it is quite possibly the best from the three. And Bloody Tears is the song I always think about and find myself going back to whenever Castlevania is mentioned. Hence, it takes the number 2 spot on this list. Number 1. Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily Stage 1 and 2. Yes, I know, an extremely predictable choice for the number 1 spot, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't justify leaving this theme out of the list. I listened to all 6 NES Mega Man soundtracks back to back to find out if there were any songs in any of them that I could place on this list instead of this one, but as you can see and hear, there wasn't. The Mega Man games are filled with great songs, but out of them all, this one stands out as the very best.